Fine, let's go to the risk. See, we have to relate this, this is technical, purely technical. And this is the area that I am working for past 10 years. I completed my PhD in 2008. This is 2018. After my PhD, I want to register for my DL, Doctor of Letters, in this particular area. This is not the area of psychology, neither this is not the area of education. This is the area of process quality. It is a integration of cognitive psychology, education, and to mention it very clearly, Six Sigma. Okay, because this accidentally happened that I got exposed to all three areas. Fine. Now we are going to discuss about micro risk as well as macro or organizational risk. I have categorized this into 5 types of micro risks. First one is cognitive risks. Second one is expression risks. Third one is tacit versus conceptual risks. Fourth one is motivation to learn. The final one is macro or organizational risk. Okay, now there is on the right hand side you can see the Bloom's taxonomy. With respect to that only I have mapped it. Okay, I am in the process of doing a research on this now. I'm also trying to get a funding also because it's a serious one. So risk in memory, short term and long term, because our education system requires memory. Without that, no one can get a pass. Fine, you know short term memory. There are 3 types of memories: immediate memory, short term memory, and long term memory. Immediate memory, you can only remember maximum 7 words or 7 letters, plus or minus 7. That is called as immediate memory span. That is why whenever we say 10 numbers, suddenly mobile numbers or phone, more than 7 is very difficult to remember. Please understand. So one gentleman has did a lot of research on that. If you can remember around 10 words, you are having a very high level of immediate memory. That is why whenever you listen to that 10 phone number, suddenly you don't speak anything, cut the phone and type it. Otherwise you have to write it. Hope you would have, right? So then comes short term memory. And there is a long term memory. This exactly happens like what is being happening in a computer. RAM is a short term memory and your hard disk is a short term. Only repetition. There are 3-4 areas in which you can transfer your awareness from short term to long term. The one is meaningfulness. Another is affection, how much you love it. Third one is psychomotor. To the extent you are able to grow in these 3 levels, as like in Bloom 3 hierarchical models, you can transform your short term memory to long term, so that you will remember whatever you will learn till the end of your life. And the beauty of the skill to swim, once you learn it, do you forget it till the end of your life? If you learned to swim, it is a psychomotor capability. You don't forget it. Unless and until you don't have the energy to swim. That is a different point. If you have the energy to swim, you will swim. But that's the highest level of learning. Right? So that is the beauty of psychomotor learning, where the knowledge has been transformed to competence. Fine. Now, risk in comprehension and understanding, risk in concept formation, risk in reasoning, relation, what is that, interpretation, analysis, judgment and problem solving. These can be considered as the cognitive risks whenever you teach something. Then what is next? Risk in teaching learning, expression risk. See, the beauty of teaching learning process is only from expression you can evaluate. If I am asking you a question, if you are sitting quiet, either you may be a genius or you may be a fool. I cannot evaluate, I cannot judge. Right? Seridane? So you have to evaluate one person from how he is expressing. So it is projective in nature. You know what is projective techniques? You allow someone to speak for 5 minutes, he will start speaking from whatever he is expressing, you can get into him. This is projective techniques in psychology. So when you ask something, either writing or in verbally, the person has to express. Then only you can evaluate him or her. Right? No other way. Because the self is coming out through expression. Okay, now there are 5 levels we all discussed. Huh? Expression at life, inability to face failures and unlearn. Everyone will have knowledge tomorrow. Tomorrow's genius people would be those people who would be able to forget whatever they have learned and unlearn. That means unlearn and learn new things. Everyone will have knowledge. Fools would be those people who are not able to unlearn. Because unless unlearn something, you cannot learn something new. So unlearning becomes a challenging task. Tomorrow's people with wisdom would be those people who unlearns and receive, accept and adapt new information. And tomorrow, when someone say that, classical physics doesn't exist, that neutron, proton, electron doesn't exist, and there is quantum physics, how many of us are able to learn that, accept it? No. But the reality is that Hawkins has really proved it. Because there exists something called as quark that is 1 million to 2 lakh million smaller than the smallest particle. And at that level, matter exists as energy and vibration. Neither there is proton or neutron or electron. We all exist as convolutions and vibrations. But it will take another 30 years to accept that philosophy. Anyway, so is this clear now? We have discussed about this. Third one is conceptual versus tacit risks. Why tacit risks happens? This is an area in which you have to really work as professors. When someone does a project, they sit at home and complete their project and bring it to you. More than 70 to 80%, mind you. Do they really go to the field? Do they really go to the company? Do they really work on a project? How many? They copy others' projects and bring it over there. More than 60 to 70%. Why? Huh? That's an easy way out. This is what we call it as, pain versus pleasure. And another major risk problem is fear of failure. If I start a new project, if I start a new company, whether it may fail or not. So it needs an ecosystem, a supportive environment to motivate him that, okay, we understand that you are not coming under the bell-shaped curve. You are not coming under the normal population. You are not the person who accepts a job where you are a person who consciously chooses to be an entrepreneur. Doesn't come under the normal curve, normal distribution. We are here to support you. Don't worry. Go ahead. But we need an ecosystem like that. But in our country, it is improving. The scenario is improving. The angel funds, the investors, people are ready to invest for a good idea, right? But this is not the case when I did my MBA 20 years back. No, not even 21 years back. Now the scenario has changed. Or rather changing. So fear of failure is one area in which the parents will tell, okay, don't take that risk, you go for a job, join with Infosys, right? Are you mad? You have to pay your bank loan, why should you? So they will not get into directly entrepreneurship. And that is a big risk, right? Fear of failure. Then comes pain and pressure. No one wants to take pain physically. See, one of the newest thing that is happening in today, because you have your Amazon God, right? You have your Flipkart God. Whenever you are able to, see, there is a separation of individual self with the, please understand, there is a separation of intellectual self with the physical self now. No one wants to do work, physical labor, physical work. Okay, tomorrow Amazon will be able to provide you a designer baby. What did I say? Amazon will arrange a surrogate mother for you, and you can infuse your egg and your sperm in another woman's womb. Surrogate mother, do you know that, right? Yeah, and Amazon will provide you a surrogate baby. Amazon will dispatch you. So even you can get a baby maybe within down the line next 15 years. You can get a designer baby for yourself. So what is required? Open your app, type, pay the money. Amazon becomes a god that provides what? Right? Yeah. So there is a separation of intellectual self with the physical self. Please understand. That is happening in tomorrow's situation. People don't want to use their physical labor, and that brings in a lot of opportunities. If you are ready to start a company that organizes, that aggregates the physical labor of people, services, you can become a billionaire. Carpentry work, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, wiremen, they are physical labor. So there is a big separation happening between the intellectual self and physical self. We want, when our cognitive skill sets enhances, we don't want to do the physical job. And down the line, after 50 years or 100 years, what will happen? Our head will become large and our body will become small. And you would have seen that video in YouTube where, in 2050, a gentleman is talking beyond the time and space. One gentleman traveled through time and he's speaking to a person sitting now, and you can see the shape of that person. Check the YouTube video. Shape of the person is small with a bigger head. And perhaps our mental capacities may enhance. Maybe I would be able to control you with my mental energy. I would be able to read you. Many things would happen. I wonder. But our physical self is going to diminish. Definitely. There is a projection. So, again, what? Pain and pleasure, physical pain, people don't want to take. Cognitive pain, they are conditioned to take. Because right from childhood, they are conditioned to think, analyze, right? Workload, cognitive load, mental load is huge for our children. They are conditioned, but physical pain they are not, unless they carry their books on their shoulders. Fine. So these are the conceptual versus tacit risk. Is that clear? But if something has to happen in reality, materially, not within your mind as an idea, but as a material output extrinsically, it can only happen through behavior, no other way. Now comes your macro or organizational risk in teaching learning. This is very important, please understand. Macro or every organization, see, during my audit, even when I worked with several organizations, I could observe this. Macro or organizational risk. Please understand, every standard tells, every international standard tells us that we have to provide same level of service experience, service delivery to whom? To whom? To the learners. Because if you are collecting 10 lakhs as fees, A and B both are paying you 10 lakhs. Then you are giving a service quality to A and another level of service quality to B. Who is going to accept it? You go to an airport, you get into an airplane, you pay what? Economy class as well as you pay business class. You paid business class and you want, if the airline people want you to sit in the economy class, will you agree to that? No. So it is very important, whether take any standard, any standard, you have to deliver the same level of service experience. Same level of service experience to the students. Whether you have 3 batches or 4 batches. Now challenge is that, one faculty cannot teach all 3 batches. If 2 faculties are going to teach in 2 batches, your students will be dissatisfied because there will be a comparison between A and B. Definitely there will be a comparison. But an organization can try to minimize the risk. Now standard tells you in clause number 7, old standard, even technical standard, IAWA standard tells you that any organization should try to minimize the risk of differential services who provide the same cost or who pay the same fees. How? Try to bring in a system that standardizes except few things. Maybe nature of delivery you cannot standardize between A and B. But what happens, what I have seen in many organizations are, if there are one or two batches, one batch would be taught through a full-time faculty, another batch would be taught through a part-time faculty. What will happen? And part-time faculty will be coming from the industry. Suddenly, there are 60 students here sitting here, another 60 students sitting here. They really feel that there is a difference in the delivery because part-time faculty will tell a lot of stories. Their involvement will be very much lesser than the full-time faculty, right? Any doubt with that? No. They will be explaining a lot of concepts that is happening in the industry, and full-time faculty will be more focusing on the academic rigor. Then again there is a difference. And the commitment of full-time faculty, the possibilities would be very more high than the part-time faculty. And there is a very possibility that students will like part-time faculty because of 2-3 things. Why? 1, less academic rigor. 2, a lot of stories. 3, satisfying approach. What is satisfying? Give me good student feedback ratings. I will give you good marks. Satisfying. Then obviously the poor full-time faculty will be in problem. Then there will be comparison. Now, an organization, what I always used to say is that if you want to teach 2 batches, either you send 2 full-time faculties or you send 2 part-time faculties. Otherwise, students will be dissatisfied. They will create a lot of problem. And because, okay, a full-time faculty will be asking them to submit 4 assignments or 5 assignments. A part-time faculty will not give 5 assignments, 1 or 2. Then, what will happen? Students only will like part-time faculty that who give less pay, right? Right? So this is a big organizational risk. And in a third, textbook and case or articles. Even in master level, I don't want to tell anything at the bachelor level. Okay, you may be using textbooks, but at master level, I have seen even very good organizations using what? Textbooks. That is, even I couldn't believe, because good organizations always use good cases as well as peer-reviewed high impact factor articles to teach. Now, a part-time faculty will be using a textbook, full-time faculty would be using that, and students less pay. He always love less pay, easy marks. So then activity-based, lecture-based, higher level of academic rigor, lesser level of academic rigor. If you can standardize this, so that the differences are minimal, please understand. If an organization can standardize this, where the differences are minimal, your students, in this particular case, you have to consider your students as a consumer or a customer, not as, because they are paying you. This is a self-financing goal, they are paying you money. Please understand. And they do have the every right to get same level of service. They will ask, I am also paying you money, he also paid you money, why are you providing different levels of service? And standard very clearly tells you that try to standardize almost everything except the delivery part of it, the style of the teacher and the different methodologies that they use. This is very important, and this happens in almost more than 80% of the organizations. Is this clear? Any doubt? Is clear? Okay. Now, the most challenging risk, lack of motivation to learn. And okay, the most challenging risk is lack of motivation to learn. That you people has already told me, right? Not interested. Let us see, I have faced another side of it. Around 5 to 6 years back, I happened to be a faculty in one PGDM course. Not now. You know what is PGDM, right? Postgraduate Diploma in Management. They don't offer an MBA over there. It was an A category business school. Very good business school. institute that comes in the top 100 in India. Okay, I was a visiting faculty. Now, I have developed a article based on that. Action research, I am going to give you that. Just go through that, and after that we will discuss about that. Fine? Okay? So, I am going to distribute this now. Just go through it. Now, you are telling that your students doesn't have interest. Fine. Now, I have seen the extreme case of that and I failed to motivate them also. Just go through it.